Buongiorno from the Dolomites of Italy, and check out the view. Beautiful, ain't it? So, time to time, I love to go to the mountains. Well, I'm very passionate about the mountains, mostly because what it gives me. I love to go in the mountains alone and to think about, to reflect on my life, where I am and what I want to change about it and why do certain things happen. And in this specific journey, I am currently thinking about the fear of letting go the things you know in order to pursue something new that feels right, even though it's really scary to do it. So I'm wondering if you also face that. Well, this is something I will be discussing as we explore this beautiful Palaronda Trek here in San Martino, Trento. It's a 3-day trek, so it gives us 3 days to think all about this. So as I take you along with the sites, I will also share with you my thoughts on all these things, and hopefully by the end of this we will have some more clarity.
Ever since I was a kid, I've had this intense admiration for mountains. They're majestic, beautiful, symbols of strength, and stand tall with brimming pride. These colossal giants don't make it easy for you to climb the top, making it such a humble experience. Because you have to earn it. And once you do, you are rewarded with such a great sense of joy, pride, and fulfillment. And not to mention a heck of a view. Yet, being up in those sheer heights can be nerve-wracking and scary. One small misstep could lead to a tumble down the cliff, a few meters too high, and you can get altitude sickness, injure yourself, and you risk getting stuck up there. So why do this? Because the sense of fulfillment is stronger than the fear of the cost of failure. And that's how I look at life. I believe there's a delicate balance between your dreams and your fears that are getting in the way of you actually achieving your dreams. And it is this balance that plays a fundamental role in leading a fulfilled life. Last year was a crazy year. It was filled with a lot of uncertainties, especially due to the pandemic sweeping across the whole world. I myself was facing a lot of fear and anxiety after realizing that my dream job was not my dream job. After all, I quit my position without a new prospect lined up and decided to become a professional filmmaker. Now, up until this moment, I had only been creating videos as a hobby. So I had no specific plan as to how I could become a professional filmmaker. And this filled me up with a lot of fear and anxiety, and I felt very lost. So I did what I generally do when I feel this way. I sought refuge into the solitude of the mountain, and this time I went to the Dolomites. So in this video I will share with you my journey through the sensational Dolomites and my reflections on what is fear and how it affects us, which fears to confront and how to confront them. All this is based on my own reflection sharing experiences with other people during the hike, and research on what the respected philosopher has said on fear. So here's a disclaimer. This is gonna be my first video that is more serious in its nature, as it touches upon life lessons and philosophy, things that are very near and dear to my heart. So that also makes this video a little bit scary. Now, that being said, I am no professional when it comes to these topics. These are just merely my reflections and thoughts that I happily share with you. I think of it more of a digital journaling on my part. And if they work for you, that would make me really happy. And if they don't work for you, that is also just fine, because every day I'm still learning more and more about this stuff. For the sake of keeping these videos short and digestible, I've decided to split these videos in 3 parts. And in the first part, we'll be discussing what fear is and how it impacts us. And the second part, it will be about which fears to face. And the last part will be about how we face those fears. So, what is fear? As I make my way through the beautiful villages and towns of Italy towards the Dolomites, I start contemplating on the basics of fear. It's a nasty feeling that can tense up your muscles, shake your body against your will, make your teeth grind, and sometimes stop you in your tracks, making you unable to take any action. Fears come in many shapes and sizes: fear of heights, snakes, judgment of others, being without a purpose in life, loneliness, falling, failing, not reaching your potential, not having a place to belong to, dying even. And fear is relative. We all perceive and experience fears differently on an individual level. One person might be afraid of jumping off a plane, and the other might just be afraid of leaving their house or even traveling alone by themselves due to some trauma or anxiety. So, how does fear affect us? I want to emphasize on the importance of fear and the vital function it performs. It's an essential tool that keeps us out of harm's way and prevents us from doing, well, silly things most of the time. And there's a difference between being foolhardy and brave. Now, both undertake the same endeavors and face the same risks. The difference is that one is unaware and rejects the fear entirely, and the other is aware of the consequences and accepts the fear for what it is, and despite that, presses on, which is the definition of courage. And then there's the third way in which people deal with fear, and that's by entirely avoiding the confrontation. As I was doing my research, I stumbled upon a video by Academy of Ideas called How to Stop Being a Coward. A great video if you have the chance to check it out. I will link it below in the description. In that video, I learned about Leslie Greenberg, a Canadian psychologist who provides an interesting insight on how adaptive and maladaptive emotions of fear affect our behavior. For instance, if there's a risk of real immediate danger, then we listen and adapt accordingly. This is simply like jumping from an airplane without any safety precautions. Our healthy fear will signal us to stop from jumping and take different action, therefore making such emotions imperative to our survival, as they help us adapt to our environment when our safety depends on it.
Is this? You go to Rifugio Colverde, and in about 4 hours you go, sorry, this one.
Yeah.
In 4 hours, you reach Rifugio Rosetta.
All right.
When you are here, you can also go up to the peak, Cima della Rosetta.
Okay.
And then tomorrow, you follow the 707 and 709 till Rifugio Pradidali.
Okay.
When you are about here, you can also go up to the peak. Here there is a glacier, but the pathway is only on rocks, so you don't have any problems.
Okay.
From here you go down and you reach Rifugio Treviso
Right.
in about 4 hours. And then from Treviso you go to Passo Canale and you go through all the plateau back to the lift for San Martino.
On the other hand, fears based on uncertainty and doubts are harder to deal with. These appear in the form of maladaptive emotions. These emotions can trick us and compel us to act in ways that deteriorate our own well-being. Unlike real dangers, such emotions no longer serve us in dealing with these fear-inducing situations constructively. In fact, these emotions rather interfere with our ability to function effectively. By giving us a false sense of security, these emotions hold us back and keep us in our comfort zone, even if that zone is toxic and the source of major distress, because the fear of the unknown is far greater than the fear of the misery we are accustomed to already. Philosophers from east all the way to the west across the various eras, cultures, and religions all provide similar insights and stances towards fear. Mainly that only by accepting uncertainty can one master his or her fears. That it is okay to be scared, but not to be afraid.
So that's where we're headed. Because I can see the lift stopping there. Or the tower next to it. Wait, over there. Wow. Well, how long will we take to get there? Well, it should be fun.
Alan Watts, a British philosopher, suggested to not be afraid of things that don't exist. He often referred to this term metaphysical courage, which is essentially being aware that the manifestation of these irrational fears is just an illusion, that it is us who allow these fears to materialize and allow it to take over our mental and physical health, eventually worrying about it to the point of sickness in some cases. Now, a great example of this would be going to a horror movie. Now, they can be really scary, and yet we go there for the thrill, we enjoy it. It's because we know it's an illusion, that we won't get hurt.
Look at this downslope. How awesome would it be to grab a bike and just wham, get downtown within 5 minutes? And that's pretty fast considering I've been walking for a little over an hour.
In general, remember that it is we who torment, we who make difficulties for ourselves, that is, our opinions do. They believe that mostly we ourselves are responsible for creating these scary illusions to torment ourselves with, that worrying about groundless fear based on uncertainty and speculation is pointless. The fearless samurais used to study Zen Buddhism as a way to attain this metaphysical courage. Miyamoto Musashi, a famous samurai duelist and a philosopher, emphasized that the way of the samurai, or the way of the warrior, means the acceptance of death. By letting go and freeing themselves by this fear of death, the empowered samurais would gain an significant advantage and be able to maneuver effectively in real-life threatening battles, increasing their chances of survival. Quite ironic, actually. Now, thankfully, in our day and age, we don't have to fight these life-threatening battles or worry about these swords being swung around our necks. Nonetheless, life itself is difficult, and it takes courage to live it to the fullest.
Holy moly! Look at that sight! Whew. What a beauty! What a beauty!
You see, our minds are highly capable of cooking up worst-case scenarios, whereas in reality, the consequences of the misfortune that might befall us are not as severe as we actually think. Yet, when faced by these fears, we either resist them by denying that we are scared, like the foolhardies, or we totally avoid any chance of encountering them and get comfortable with the undesirable situation, potentially going back to living an unsatisfactory life. And that brings me back to what I was referring to earlier, that it's okay to be scared, but not give in to the fear. Be comfortable with the uncertainty. Be comfortable with the uncomfortable.
All right, I think we're almost there, guys. That looks pretty close, no? Ah, man. It's been good. It's been good so far. Let's keep on going. Thank you very much.
See you.
This is my dream, huh? To hike with a dog. It's my dream. One day I will do this as well.
Yeah. Let's talk.
The people who get up there with the lift, they're actually walking towards that hut. So I suppose that concludes our first day. Well, let's go there. Let's have a nice meal, because I really need it. I haven't eaten anything. I have been drinking water though, because it's very important. But I'm starving. So let's go and see what they have to offer. So all right, I like it. I like it. What a view. I can live with that. It feels good to take off the shoes and relax a little bit. Nothing beats a well-earned soup after a hike. Ah, it tastes so good. Yummy. So what's the plan? Well, next plan is to go up there. Most people do that on the first day as well, because the first day's hike It takes about less than 4 hours. So then basically they go up there for an additional hour of hiking, and from there basically you have a beautiful panoramic view. I didn't do that today because I will go up in the morning, well, if I manage to wake up in the morning, and try to capture the sunlight.
As I was enjoying the sunset after my meal, I came across fellow Dutch hikers who were friendly and generous enough to share their thoughts on fears. Not only did we discuss about fear of the hiking in the mountains, but also traveling or doing things on your own, or having fears of what others might think of your actions. Have a look.
We zijn hier in Palaronda. Jullie zijn een eerste multiple dag trek aan het doen, neem ik aan. Dus meerdaagse trek.
Ja.
Oh, je hebt het wel vaker gedaan.
Ja, ik niet.
Nee, jij hebt
Ik
het
ben
niet
al echt
gedaan.
trots dat ik hier
Ja.
zit.
Ja? Ja.
Want ja, nou kijk, jij doet al die wat extremere dingen, maar voor mij vond ik het al een hele overwinning dat we dit gingen doen. En toen ik 50 werd dacht ik, oh chips, ik moet nu snel wat dingen gaan doen. Ik had een midlife crisis hoor. Want anders is mijn leven voorbij. En,
Echt, ik ben ook wel gewend om echt dingen samen te doen altijd, maar dat ik in de voorbereiding nu toch ook wel vaker dingen alleen heb gedaan. En dat me dat eigenlijk heel goed is bevallen. Eigenlijk veel dat ik toch hele stukken alleen door een bos heb gelopen of rond de berg waar je gewoon 1 keer per uur iemand tegenkomt. Dat je gewoon toch. Ja. En dat ik daar niet bang voor was, zeg maar, om dit soort dingen alleen te doen. En dat ik het ook helemaal niet erg vond om 4, 5 uur lang alleen ergens te zijn, zeg maar. Dat vond ik wel echt een eye-opener, zeg maar. Ik denk van oké, ik kan het dus gewoon wel.
En hoe, nadat je dat gedaan hebt, wat voor gevoel krijg je daarna?
Nou, blij.
Blij.
Ja.
Wij hadden een gesprek over dat het sociaal gezien soms raar is als je dingen alleen doet. Ik kan het niet goed uitleggen. Terwijl voor mij, ik ga meestal op vakantie 1 keer of 2 keer per jaar en 1 keer samen en 1 keer niet. En het is voor mij heel fijn is om ook alleen op vakantie te gaan, omdat ik heb nooit in mijn leven dat ik geen rekening met iemand moet houden. Terwijl als ik alleen op vakantie ga, kan ik gewoon de hele dag doen wat ik zelf wil.
Ja.
Zonder met iemand ook maar rekening te hoeven houden. En dat is echt het gevoel van vrijheid.
Ja, dat is ook. En de angst hier zit in is eventueel, wat zal die andere van mening hebben?
Ja, maar
Oh,
dat
zij
heb ik
gaat
helemaal
alleen.
dat heb ik helemaal losgelaten.
Ja, dat ze gaat helemaal alleen. Heeft ze dan niet iemand of vrienden om mee te gaan of dat soort
Precies.
dingen? Ja, terwijl je eigenlijk gewoon lekker je eigen ding wil doen.
Ja, het is gewoon echt heel
genieten.
fijn. Het was ook misschien dat je, ja, hoe ouder je wordt, hoe makkelijker je ook dingen makkelijker
jawel.
loslaten
Dat is ook zo.
wat andere mensen van je denken.
Ja, dat is het.
Ja.
Dan maakt je dat niet meer zoveel uit als toen je 20 of
Juist.
30 was.
Ja.
Ja, je wordt
Nog
toch
niet,
wel
hè?
steeds-
Nog niet.
Je schaamte gaat echt down the drain. Hoor.
Het grappige is dat mensen dat ook wel weer heel leuk vinden dat je dat doet.
Ja,
Ja, juist.
Ja,
dat ze
juist.
eigenlijk, of
want
dat je,
dan leren ze je pas kennen, toch?
of je hoort terug van, ja, zou ik ook, eigenlijk ook wel eens willen doen, maar ja, dat ga ik niet doen. Durf ik niet, of ja, ik weet niet.
I love that despite them being aware of their fears, they still chose to take the hike, travel alone, take actions on their own, and take actions and not be deterred by opinions of others. There is something about being on a hike adventure and meeting fellow hikers in a cozy hut that encourages people to open up and have meaningful conversations. That was it for the first part of this video. Thank you for being with me on this beautiful journey, and I hope you enjoyed it thus far. In the next part, I will share my reflections on which fears to face. So make sure to come back. Until then, have a lovely day. This is your host, Amir, signing out.